All right, good first mishmar of being back. Congratulations to making everyone this far in the year. All right. So if you guys don't know, I don't know if you guys remember, but one of the last mishmars, if not the last mishmar before Bein Hazmanim, Rav Simi gave an absolutely incredible sikha that I think changed a lot of our minds going into Bein Hazmanim, right? So he had us leaving off with the mindset that if we believe we can do something, then we can do it. So as we begin the final Zman of our Shana Aleph, I don't think that this message could be more applicable than any time than now. And with your permission, I would like to build upon this message. The letters Kuf, Dalid, and Shin combine to make the word Kadosh, the root of the name of this week's Parsha, which itself connotes separation. What do I mean by that? As we are told in Vayikra Rabbah, on one side of the spectrum we have the word Kadosh, meaning holy, and on the other side we have the word Kadesh, what we call an immoral person. Being holy, as implied by the word, means separating from things that are immoral and striving for better, not being an immoral person. The Parsha starts with the Psukim, Vaydaber Hashem al Moshe Lemor, Daber el Kol Adat B'nei Yisrael, V'amarta Alehem Kedoshim to you, Ki Kadosh Ani Hashem Elohecha. Hashem spoke to Moshe saying, speak to the entire nation, the children of Israel, and say to them, you shall be holy, for I, the Lord your God, am holy. We are commanded to be holy. And Vayikra Rabbah explains to us that this means separating from things that are not holy. Right? This is a very general statement, leaving a lot up to us to decide what is holy and what is not. In order for us to abide by this commandment that the Torah tells us, it must clearly state, since being holy is such a wide concept, it must give us a description of what it means to be holy. There must be a certain set of rules that we have to follow. Does anyone know where the Torah does this? Where does the Torah tell us to be holy, right? It can't be all of the mitzvot, because does anyone know? Question? No? Okay, well it tells us in this week's Parsha, right? Kedoshim to you, then it lists on. Exactly, right after this week's Parsha, the rest of the Psukim are basically just filled with mitzvos that tell a person how to be holy. More specifically, going by the Sefer Achinuch's account of the mitzvot, this Parsha alone accounts for 50 of the 613 mitzvot, making around 8.16% of all the mitzvot that we were given. All right. Although in this parsha there are 50 different laws that a person must follow in order to quote unquote become holy, there seems to be a bunch of mitzvot that don't really apply to the average person's journey to becoming holy. For example, the isser of reaping the fields to the very end of the vineyard, or the isser to conjure, meaning to create an optical illusion that seems to go beyond the laws of nature. I don't know about you guys, but I'm not so often reaping fields or doing magic, so I don't know what that has to do with me being holy. So we still don't have a clear sense of what it means to be holy. Just a bunch of laws that keep us away from doing immoral things. Looking a few psukim later, we find the trait of honesty. Lo tignov v'lo tichachshu v'lo tishakru, ish ve'amito. You shall not steal, you shall not deny falsely, and you shall not lie to one another. I think that if a person wants to be a holy person, the characteristic they must work hardest on is honesty. Well, when we look around both here in Yeshiva and out in the world, the people that we look to as role models embody this trait to the highest degree. Our Rebbeim, our parents, our friend Isaac Golden, and all our spiritual role models are all definitions of what it means to live an honest life. What it means to not lie is that when a person takes an honest look at the situation they are in and arrives at the truth, they see that there's almost always an option of what is right and what is wrong. There's a clear choice of what is holy and what is immoral. Tying this in with Rav Simi's message, the only way a person can do and accomplish after they believe in themselves is through honesty. For example, if a person is trying to start a company, and after much thought and research, they believe that they have the skills necessary that they need to start with, right? And after starting their company, they arrive at a point where they can keep going and things are going to get hard, or they can take an easier route and things will almost certainly not take the company to the place where they want it to be at. If they end up taking the easier path, they are essentially lying to themselves. They are saying, I want such and such, but I'm not willing to put in the effort or the work that is required to get there. So in reality, this person doesn't actually want what they say they want. The exact same applies to us now. During today's Torah Chaim seminar, we all wrote down goals and aspirations that we think that we can accomplish by the end of this month, right? By the end of yeshiva. We wrote down things that we believe are possible for us to achieve if we put in a little effort. If we stay honest with ourselves and stay true to the path of success, even though it may be hard, we actively choose to be Kadosh. Bringing this all back together, when we are honest and we are able to see things how they are, we are able to act in the correct manner, make the right choices, and reach a point where we do things that are imbued with holiness. That we make honest choices. We don't lie to ourselves or to anyone around us, neither through our words or through our actions. And we choose to be part of the Kedoshim that we talk about in this week's Parsha. Thank you.